give everybody time to get in. All right, go ahead and kick it off. Welcome and thank you for being here. We're happy to be here with each and every one of you. The purpose of this is to provide a first-hand account of Team 10482's rookie all-star year, as well as a few tips and tricks to prospective FRC teams in hopes that they can start strong and stay focused, as well as avoid some common mistakes. I'd like for you to meet the team.
Good afternoon. My name is Eli, and my role on the team was, if I was on the drive team, I would have two other team members with me, and we would go down on the playing stage where the game was being held. And if I wasn't on the drive team, I would be scouting and keep score of the game, and also looking out for our future teammates. And a couple personal accomplishments that I had were joining the robotics team as a first year manufacturing student, meaning that I really didn't have any manufacturing skills. It really helped me advance my tool and my hand skills all around. And also being more of a scout for our team when we weren't competing helped me analyze competition and teammates when we got to the playoffs.
Good afternoon. My name's Connor. I was the CFO for the team overall, and I was the lead driver for Albany and Worlds. Currently, I'm now an aerospace engineer undergrad at Kennesaw State University. Go Owls! With FIRST Robotics, I got to experience the field of engineering and robotics, and I got to work on my communication leadership skills, and I also got to meet new people from around the state and the world.
Good afternoon. My name is Nate. I was the main driver for Gwinnett and Peach State, and I co-drove with Connor for the Worlds competition. During the season, I was the driver for 15 games that we won, and I'm currently a student at both ACCA and Athens Tech.
Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Woodson. I was the team's head coach. I'm an FRC alumni, class of 2005. Prior served USMC, and I'm currently an advanced manufacturing and welding instructor at the Athens Community Career Academy.
What we wish we knew for the fall. We really wish we knew more skills for fundraising. We greatly underestimated the budget required for all of our events and the costs that would require us to go to these events. Additionally, we didn't expect parts and especially replacement parts for the robot to cost so much. We wish we knew the importance of recruiting and having a larger team as other teams did. We wish we knew that we could have our meetings earlier than we originally did. Our meetings usually ran for about an hour or two, about twice a week. And we wish we could have had more time so we could work on the robot and plan things out a lot more. The importance of grants was something we really did wish we could get our foot in the door sooner. Finances were a very difficult thing for us to deal with during this season or past season. Training time, which is usually about when you should know how the coding works, and you should have multiple people working on that code. We try to learn more about FIRST Robotics for any specific rules or regulations. During the season, there was a lot of regulation changes at competition that kind of blindsided us. So it's good to know those rules ahead of time before anything. Like before, again, grants and fundraising, finances are a really big part of robotics. And then also you need to have stuff to give to people so that they know who you are so that you become a name.
I want to take a minute to also state the importance for the rule change and checking in on that. We had Rule Miser really come in about once a week and do a full read on the rule books every Thursday, I believe it was. So that any changes that happened, we were up to date on. That person was great. That person was also our safety advisor. And while they had a tendency to talk at the wrong time, it was also the right time for them to talk, and we really appreciated that. So the importance of having somebody who will speak up and say, you know, hey, this is against the rules, or hey, this is probably a safety violation, is something that's really beneficial.
Our lead start. Our team really only started after the game was announced. The only people that went to the kickoff meeting were Mr. Woodson and one other of our mentors. We were way behind in building the robot and knowing the game, and this led us to have to put parts on during competitions. And it was a very small margin of error. And our takeaway from this was, if we did it, so can you.
One of our things as far as behind in building the robot, and Nate mentioned that we actually went to a competition and still didn't have all of our parts on. We had the climber attached, but the roof that basically pops open, which you can see behind us, was held on by zip ties until we got to the competition. So we really had that crunch time feeling, but that probably would have been alleviated if we had started our meetings a lot earlier.
We also, excuse me.
As far as analyzing the game, we watched the game announcement over and over and over again. We really tried to dive into the different ways that points could be scored. And it really came to understand that with what we were given, which was the kit bot, we weren't going to be able to score on every aspect of the game. So what we did is we kind of dialed it down and took on the motto of doing a few things really, really well. As far as, you know, the resources that we had, most of our build table was an ironing board and some milk crates. So we really kind of made it happen with less than nothing. But we really tried to focus on the parts of the game that we could score. We recognized that we were able to score on the first level of the reef, which was a very basic thing, and anybody with a kit bot could do that. And we really wanted to do something that made us different. So we looked into it and realized that we had space for a climber. We ordered the climber, attached the climber, and without really knowing how we were going to make that space above it, we just kind of dove in and tried things and really got our hands dirty and made some mistakes. Thank you, Ms. Frizzle, for always telling me to make some mistakes. We also recognize that with us being able to only play certain aspects of the game, that our drive team would always have to go to the teams and our alliances and say, hey, these are what we're good at. This is what we're not good at. We really had to have a deep understanding of what our abilities were. We got pushed to play defense often because of the fact that we were a tank bot. And that really was not our strength. Matter of fact, we hated playing defense, not because we didn't like doing defense, but pretty much every time we played defense, something broke on our robot. And we'd have to run around and fix it and find a way to fix that. But another thing was that because of the limited amount of people that we have in the pit, we really used our extra people to scout and watch games, find out what other teams were good at, and look at that for alliance selection. When it came to alliance selection, one of the things that we really stood out on was that both events that we went to before the district championship, we ended up being a rookie team that was selecting alliances. So understanding how that
Go early and to get ready for the robot. Sizing the bumpers and also moving parts, including and this also included prototyping as well. And we also had to test everything multiple times, even failing multiple times and starting over. And it isn't really failure if you learn something from it, which we did.
Building the robot, we would mess up a lot. Two of our members spent an hour and a half every day on just building. One of our members spent that time coding. It was a lot of pressure as the first competition came closer. We had to install parts of our robot during our first competition. And then stress testing was very, very essential. Couple pro tips. Mark out the pit area for your build space. And then also know the rules at each event for that pit area. it's a good idea to mark out where in your classroom or your build shop, where the size of the pit area, so that you can understand how much space you have to work around in, how much space does the robot take up, how much space does your tools take up. Because when you get to events, the spaces seem a lot smaller than what you're initially thinking it would be.
Another tip on that, as far as marking out your pit area for build space, you need to think about things like, will I have power there? Is my bandsaw battery operated, or do I need a plug? What kind of computer plugs do I need? Our kit for what actually went into our pit went from being just the robot and a couple of tools to an entire kit of extension cords, spare parts. It contained everything we ended up needing. So I would say it's better to be more prepared than underprepared with things that you might need in the pit. As far as building it and setting it up, you'll generally have a table and 1 to 3 electrical connections. Take that and put as many surge protectors as you feel comfortable putting on that, and then do your best to kind of have an idea of where it's going to be. Typically, the table will be set up on one side and the power comes either to the table or towards the back end of the pit.
What we wish we knew for the build season? We wish we would have established the base code early, like the basic drivetrain. For us, the roller mechanism took a while to perfect. Driver practice, we really do wish we had practiced a lot more. Most of our driver experience was at the competitions. Thorough trials for autonomous, we were really held back with our autonomous because we didn't have the training or space to train for it. Our Instagram and social media presence was lacking, and that could have led to potential grants or sponsors, along with taking pictures. We had a few scenarios where measure twice, cut once would have really helped us, and that led to a lot of lost materials. And with that, extra materials is a must. You have to have backups because stuff will break. And perfect is the enemy of done. It can always be better, but organization is key.
A couple of challenges that we faced were finding funding and grants, seemingly that we didn't have any social media presence at the time. And we also had only one coder who knew exactly what the bot did and actually how to fix if we had a coding problem. And that played a part in a couple of those struggles that we had at competitions as well. And we also had a lack of 3D printing technology that was durable enough that could withstand the games and the competitions. And also, we weren't prepared for all the damage that happened to our robot while we were there as well.
You really should go into this with the mind of thinking not necessarily if something breaks, but when something breaks. And typically it's what's going to break first. There were several situations where we had something break on our robot. One was a robot flipped over, which you can see in the picture. And I don't know how well you can see this, but this was one of our brackets that pretty much snapped in half from that. And then an earlier competition, we had a defense bot come after us pretty hard and took our tube steel or tube aluminum and just completely snapped one of our uprights. One of the pro tips that I can give you on that one is, at least for districts, Georgia Power is available. They have a machine shop at the competitions. They do have some materials on hand, but usually if you can give them some materials, they can cut it to shape, size. They can't really do milling that much. So if you need something specially milled, I would have a couple of those on hand beforehand. But they do have the basics. They're able to grind, cut, and drill on site. So that's incredibly helpful. Always use that if you need to be. And again, talk to other teams, because a lot of other teams have technology or resources that you don't necessarily have. There was a team, we didn't have a way to band cut anything at competition, but when we got to World, somebody had a porta band with a stand on it, and that thing would just rip through whatever they needed. It was perfect. Pay attention to the other teams while you're in the pit. See how their stuff is set up. See what you want to build your pit like. Our pit, even at Worlds, was definitely this feeling of small fish in a big pond again. but that had us with basically a table, some snacks, 2 milk crates to hold our robot up whenever we needed to do bumper changes, and a whole bunch of cords powering a whole bunch of batteries, while other teams had trusses and tents covered in things. And it's really something that you can build your team brand on at competitions, is how your pit is set up.
With our achievements, we started figuring out a template code roughly before the start of the first competition, which really helped us out with autonomous. We started improvising with new designs and innovations with the kitbot. Obviously, of our own design was convertible roof, and then the climber was borrowed. This really helped us earn extra points, especially with the barge points. We also started having our driver tryouts in our school's library, luckily with 0 damage to the bot or the library. We started seeing after this consistent performance on all of our critical systems.
For our Gwinnett competition, this is where we began the process of true team bonding through the stress of competition. We started using our extra people to scout midway through this competition. Our drivers built confidence, and this was our first rookie all-star award.
Well, that was really cool because it was the team's introduction to competition and really what cooperation looks like. Yes, you are, playing against other teams, but even a team that you're going to play against will still go bend over backwards to help you out if you need to be. They're there for the game, not for winning and losing.
Excuse me. When we were in Albany, we had a less experienced driver, even though it was a smaller event, and we felt like we also felt like that we were beginning to know what we were doing and like different techniques and skills that we were learning as a team. And we also had a sense of belonging while we were within the pits as well, and also a sense of like family or brotherhood type. But also we will have time, while also we were working hard, we had time to have fun as well.
One of the things that we picked up at Albany was the inspector's choice at Albany. So I want to take this time to make sure that you're paying attention to the little things on your robot, making sure that, sharp bits are cut off, batteries are completely taped up, no metal at all. So definitely use every bit of electrical tape you can find. It's always better to be more safe than it is less safe. Make sure that your robot is grounded or your battery is grounded so that it doesn't charge your robot itself. Have a good system for your bumpers. There's plenty of YouTube tutorials on how bumpers work. Some use a Velcro system to leave one bumper on while flipping to change bumper colors. Our personal system was that we built the bumpers around the robot, lifted it up and over, and then set it down, bolting it in place. And that seemed to be really effective, though that was kind of time consuming, bolting it in place. I really want to emphasize finding time to have fun at these competitions. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of after the competition events that you can go to. They do things like karaoke, grilling out. They have dancing and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and it really helps build the team spirit. When it came to Peachtree, things got a lot more difficult. This was the district championship. We were fighting against, or not fighting, we were playing against the best of the best in our district, and they really showed up to play. But at the same time, we started to make some serious friends and allies. We got to know some of the teams a lot better. We had some friends from previous events that we ended up teaming up with and going very far. We really kind of fine-tuned our driver control here. And at this competition, we got the District Rookie All-Star Award, which was really quite intimidating because it was quite a bit like drinking from a fire hydrant. Every bit of information came at you very fast. Deadlines came up very fast. Suddenly you had to figure out how to transport your robot, which what we ended up doing is working with another team with gracious professionalism. They were carrying their robot to the competition in Texas, and they had space on their trailer for our robot as well. So they actually helped us out there. And again, it just goes to show how much gracious professionalism actually exists in this environment.
At Worlds, this made us feel like a small fish in a very, very big pond. We were almost entirely shook over how big the competition, the size of the building it was, and then also how many teams from around the world there really were. Um, in our division, and especially outside of our division, we had a lot of fun bonding with other teams. Um, Throughout this event, we really saw first culture on display. We saw a lot of teams helping out each other. We saw a lot of people just being excited to be in an element where they could be themselves. We, of course, were a smaller team, a total of 7 people, including our mentors, while other teams had, I'd say, upwards of 30-ish people. Um, and in the end, at the event, we ended up placing 59 out of 75. And we were okay with this. We were okay with doing okay at this event. And as you can see here, this was me flipping our robot at Worlds. Um, and as a result, we decided to write something on the bottom in case anything ever happens like that again. And we suggest having fun with it too. If you have space to play or have some fun, we say go ahead and do it. Bring some comedy onto the field.
There's a lot of stress when it comes to this. There's a lot of chaos. So anytime that you can really bring something fun to the table to lighten the mood, that helps a lot from a coach's perspective. Being able to give your robot personality and really build it up as a part of your team, not just a thing, is quite the tool. Again, you can see us having fun here with some of our intros. We were doing ring ring banana foam. We did a couple of arm cannons. We did some other stuff that was kind of fun. So any chance we had to have fun and get a little silly, we kind of took it.
What we wish we knew for competition? The flag system to communicate with the refs, while it wasn't complicated, it did take some getting used to. The bumper changes, as we explained earlier, they are very important, as you might have 30 minutes between your matches or maybe 2 or 3. So if you can get those bumpers on and off as fast as possible, that really does help. We didn't have a very good 3D printer, but through gracious professionalism, we were able to ask other teams for help and 3D print some spare parts. But bringing as many spare parts for any points of possible failure is very important. Scouting and alliances, after every game, our drive team would go out and find the drivers of the next game and speak with them and form a game plan. We wish we would have brought more food. We ended up starving through most of our competitions with minimal snacks.
And starve.
We didn't starve, but we wish we would have brought more food. Alliance selection is complicated. We ended up kind of fumbling through our selection of other teams, but we didn't expect to make it that far, and we should have planned better for that. Another big part was finding out which awards were available and how to achieve them. We didn't know about Rookie All-Star going into the first competition, and were surprised when we achieved it. And it would have helped to be prepared to get that award and get this far.
Some of the other awards that are available are like the Impact Award, the Woody Flowers Award. All of those awards go towards things. Sometimes even in your search for grants, they ask what awards that you've been given so that you can actually represent how well your team is doing. On the bring food note, I want to say that a really big opportunity for us to bond as a team at competition was we actually went to a restaurant, sat down and ate as a team. So that was really nice having a family aspect to it. When it comes to alliance selection, we were selected to choose alliances for 2 out of the 3 state competition. So the district awards and state competition, we were selected twice to select alliances. And that's really where your scouting comes in. You want to know what teams you're going to work well with in a synergy aspect. You want to know what other teams are going to do, how they're going to play the game. So having a full scouting regimen is ideal for the end game.
What we plan to improve for this upcoming season is the drills for the bumper changes and driving, and also more things and more recruitment for our team. Having a bigger team, I feel like that will really help us for this upcoming season compared to last year, and also more fundraising, being able to get more parts and better parts for our bot and help it improve as well. And also maybe make a team website so we can have more community outreach, such as
One of the things that we're doing this year for our community outreach is we're actually sponsoring a tech banks and food raising, working within our community just like that. That really comes into play whenever you're talking to judges in the pits. That's one thing that we really didn't know was going to happen. Well, I know it was going to happen, but the team didn't. So it was really kind of a baptism by fire with them talking to judges in the pits. They will come around and talk to you and ask everybody every little detail about the robot. So it's really important for everybody on your team to know everything about the robot. There is obviously some people that robots aren't necessarily their thing, and social media is the reason why they're there, but they still need to know the basics of how the robot works.
we also want to do our work early this year and start improving as a team and our bot more and have to be more efficient and to continue to focus on achievable goals that are within our reach, and also cross training more for coding, since we only had like one coder last year. So it would be better if more people on our team could code, and also team to team relationships with different teams and getting to know different people as well.
All right, so this is the coaches section where I basically give you as much of my brain as I possibly could. Whenever it comes to your team, you should always try to manage your team's expectations. Yes, going for first place is always awesome, but sometimes just making it is the big win. Making it to our first competition, we again had a robot that was only partially functional, and just that didn't make us give up. We had to continue going, which really plays into the persistence. No matter what the hurdles that come your way, there is a way over it. Talk to your liaison. Lisa Hatch is amazing. Talk to other teams, see what you can work out. If the chances are that you don't have the ability to do something, somebody does, and they're more than willing to help you. That goes into talking to other teams and gracious professionalism. I really encourage you not only to receive gracious professionalism from other teams, but also practice it yourself. Try and offer help. Bring spare parts so in case somebody needs something. There's always some call out in the pits for a piece that somebody needs. Sorry about that. Hopefully we'll get through before it does its thing. We'll go back. I apologize. Always make room for silly. Always have a plan B. The bluealliance.com is going to be your best friend when it comes to anything at competition. It tells you where competition is, how much competition, or where you're standing in the competition. Again, make room for silly. Look for grants. Grants are out there. That's going to be the biggest bread and butter for you being able to do more things with your team. As far as first mentors, as well as other team, if you have access to a first mentor, that will go a long way. We would not have made it as far as we did if it wasn't for somebody in the first mentor program being like, hey, have you thought about this? Something will break. You need to be prepared for it. Have spare parts, have extra stuff printing. Try to go into it with the engineer, adapt and overcome, which is my personal little play on the Marine Corps, improvise, adapt and overcome, but it serves us well. One thing that a lot of people did not consider was considering ballast in your robot, especially if you have a robot that's tall. Having that extra weight in the bottom will really help the way that your driving performs. Bumpers are far more important than you think they could be. They are the thing that's going to save your robot, and it's also going to be the thing that is the death of your robot if you don't do them well and do them right. That and another play on the Marine Corps, Semper Gumby, is always flexible. There's going to be a lot of challenges that come your way. So the best thing that you can do is just take them in stride and work your way around them. There is a way to get it done. Just it's about using the resources that are there. At this point, we kind of want to open the floor up for any questions. Good news, if there's any of them, just send them our way, okay? All right, well, if there's not any questions, we'll go ahead and take it to the thank you slide. Thank you for coming in. You can reach us on Instagram at FRC Team 10482, or you can reach us at email at the BuzzBots 10482 @gmail.com. Thank you very much for coming.